So I made a petition to raise awareness of the need to impeach the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, due to vehemently hateful anti-white statements she made, equating being white with being anti-American, and basically stating that the Trump supporters that stormed the Capitol were, and I quote, her quote was, they chose whiteness over the democracy. We're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic, but beside the point, the multiracial horde of Trump supporters that stormed the Capitol were A, multiracial, and B, were not affiliated with any white supremacist group, and their chants were things like liberty, USA, and freedom are the things they chanted. If you don't believe me, go look up videos of the people that stormed the Capitol. Not one person chanted white power or said white power, period. They were not white supremacists, they were a multiracial horde of misfits and morons. What Hillary Clinton called deplorables. That's what was left of Trump's support by the time they stormed the Capitol. Okay? And this video is not to say that I don't agree with impeaching Donald Trump, although I do doubt the constitutionality of impeaching a guy that actually isn't president. As I stated in my last video regarding the Trump impeachment, which I will leave a link to, really impeaching him doesn't really serve any purpose. Okay, he can't hold public office ever again. Big deal, he's like 1,000,000 years old. He's probably going to pass away due to natural causes before the next fricking election anyway. I think they really need to concentrate on Donald Trump Jr. and Rudy Giuliani, who I think said some of the most inflammatory things at the January 6th rally, the Trump rally at the Capitol. I believe that Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump Jr. were probably a lot more inflammatory in the words they used and, in my opinion, more so responsible with what happened than Donald Trump was. And I still state, I think Donald Trump does suffer from some degree of senility or age-related mental decline or cognitive decline and emotional dysregulation. Not that he ever had good emotional regulation. I don't believe he did. But he obviously, in my opinion, again, I'm not a doctor and I don't have any ins with anybody, but in my opinion, it seems like he was being taken advantage of by his family, by Jared Kushner, by Ivanka Trump, to push him towards a America Last policy, Israel First policy. That's just what it looks like from the outside. And to do really crazy, stupid, New York City-style liberal bullcrap. Okay, like the First Step Act and nonsense like that. I think that he was led down that path by the two New York City-style bloodthirsty Zionist liberals that he had as his chief advisors, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. That to the side now. So, Nancy Pelosi, I'm not even going to get into the fact that radical leftists, since the middle of the Obama regime, have been calling for violent revolution against the United States and have been justifying and encouraging violent revolution against our republic. That's a fact. I could leave links, and it's no big deal. I mean, I think I did in my last video, which I'll be leaving a link to anyway, but radical leftists, including Barack Obama, Eric Holder, Alexandria Cortez, they have been calling for violent revolution against this republic for a good 8 years now, okay? So that's to the side, including Nancy Pelosi, who called for uprisings all over the country, okay? That's not the point of this. The point is that Nancy Pelosi made specifically an anti-white statement from her position as Speaker of the House. And that position was that she stated that these Trump supporters chose whiteness over the democracy, which which is not, even if it doesn't cause any repercussions, which it does, because it fuels the anti-white hatred in this country. But even if it didn't fuel the anti-white hatred in this country, this is an openly racist, hateful comment coming from the Speaker of the House. Okay? Basically stating that white people are anti-American. This is the type of speech, the type of hate speech that cannot be tolerated in this country by our political class. You wouldn't tolerate it if it was Donald Trump. Why tolerate it if it's Nancy Pelosi? And that's the bottom line there. So I'm going to leave a link to my petition. Now remember, the petition isn't going to get Nancy Pelosi impeached. But what it shows is that enough white Americans are angry and in a peaceful and acceptable way are voicing their anger and their disgust at the anti-white hatred coming from Nancy Pelosi. And that's what's important. That this type of speech, this type of anti-white hate speech will not be tolerated in this republic. And what's even more disgusting is, and it shows that I'm right, the only political figure to come out to defend white Americans and Christian Americans, Nancy Pelosi has already made anti-Christian and anti-Catholic statements as well, stating that Christians and Catholics that voted for Trump put, their religion over the country. So Nancy Pelosi's on a roll with hate speech here, making anti-white statements, anti-Christian statements, anti-Catholic statements, and I know what people are thinking. You make anti-Catholic statements. I'm not Speaker of the House. But my point is, and ironically, I'm not Catholic. Nancy Pelosi's supposedly Catholic too, making anti-Catholic hate speech, putting forth anti-Catholic hate speech from the Speaker of the House position there. So the thing is, my point is you cannot tolerate people making hateful comments from the position of Speaker of the House, or from President, or from Vice President. Frankly, the senators and congressmen, yeah, maybe they can make such comments. That would be more understandable, but even that's questionable. You can't have people that their goal is to make the laws of this republic. This republic's laws are supposed to apply to everybody, regardless of what their race is, what their gender is, what their sexual orientation is, what their whatever the hell, whatever's going on now with the transgender stuff and all that. It does not matter. The laws of this republic are supposed to apply to everybody the same. Okay? So you can't have somebody like Speaker Nancy Pelosi making hateful speech, because it shows a bias. When she makes hate speech against white Americans, against Christian Americans, against Catholic Americans, it shows that she is vehemently hateful and biased against these groups, and this is not somebody that we should have in charge of making laws for this republic. And I'm going to leave a link to as much of this as I can, and that's all for this video.